Welcome to the Be Better broadcast, specifically our newest segment called Impact Hour, where we help you, an entrepreneur, business person, coach, content creator, whatever it may be. You have a message to share with the world. You want to impact thousands of people, or you have a product or a service that you want to offer to your target audience so that it can improve their life for the better. Impact Hour is a brand new segment to the Be Better broadcast, and it was created by you. That's right. Last week, I sent a survey out to my LinkedIn page, my YouTube page, and my Facebook page, and I asked you, when it comes to creating strong video content, what are the things that you most want to know? And I got a ton of awesome responses. And the reason I sent this survey out is because my mission here at Be Better Industries, my mission with the Be Better broadcast, my YouTube channel, all of my content creation courses, whatever it might be, is to positively impact as many people as I possibly can to help them to positively transform their life. I've operated Be Better Industries now for 2.5 years. We started in 2019 with some videos and with some content, and it's transformed into a company where now I have 2 paid courses. I have a Be Better Bootcamp, which is a program you can go to improve your life and transform your life over the course of 6 weeks. We have the Be Better Academy, which is a monthly membership program. We've got my book, Be Extraordinary. We have so many different products and services that we offer people to help them transform that I thought to myself, there's a lot of people out there who are in a similar position to where I was just a few years ago, who have a message, a product, a service that they want to offer people. And specifically, I think about people who want to coach other people. I think about people who want to even create a YouTube channel to share their message. And there's so many people out there who want to do that. But the thing is, they either, 1, don't know how to do it, 2, they don't know how to get started, or 3, they're afraid to get started. I think the biggest reason why people hesitate to share their message, service, product is because they're afraid of, what if people don't like it? What if people think adversely of me? What if they criticize me? What if it doesn't work? And I believe that fear is the number one thing that holds people back. And my goal with this show is the same mission as my normal content. It's to reach as many people, to help them to transform their life in a positive way. And I thought to myself, what better way to reach more people than to create a show where I can literally give you all of the strategies that I've personally used to build a YouTube channel to over 5,000 subscribers, to use strong encapsulating video content to offer your products, services, or message, to use other forms of content, really to build a personal brand around your personal mission and your message. We're in the 21st century. Things are very different now than they were even just a few years ago, especially 5 years, 10 years ago. You are a personal brand. If you're working for a company, you are still self-employed. You are still a personal brand, and that personal brand is you. And you, as the individual, have a personal mission. You have a personal impact vision of your own that you want to give to other people. And I want to help you to share that vision. I want to help you to reach more people so that I can reach more people at the same time by living through you. Now, the first thing I wanted to tell you before we get into the several topics we have for today, there's 2 things specifically I wanted to talk to you about today. The first thing is why I started using video content in order to grow my personal brand and to grow my business, and also to share my message and my products and all those things. And I also wanted to talk to you about, if I could go back in time and offer Brandon 2.5 years ago 3 pieces of advice to build your personal brand based on the mistakes that I made myself, I want to give you 3 specific pieces of advice that you'll be able to use right away after this broadcast, which is going to air every single Friday. Joseph Gonzalez, good to have you here, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Mr. Jim Kunkel, good to have you tuning in, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you both on the broadcast. By the way, if you're tuning in right now, leave a comment. Let me know you're tuning in. Let me know, what questions do you have when it comes to building your personal brand? Leave your comments and suggestions and tips in the comments as well. I'm always happy to see them and mention them on the show. Now, I wanted to read a couple of the questions that you specifically had that we will be featuring exclusively on this show every single Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. A couple of things you wanted to know in the survey that I sent out was simple things like, when you're creating video content, You want to make sure that you get the lighting right. You want to make sure that you get the camera position right. Someone wrote, I look shocking on video and it stops me from sharing. And I guess I'll give you a little tip right now. You're only looking shocking to you. Right? You're the only one who's thinking in your mind, oh, I look shocking right now. What you're doing is you're giving yourself reasons not to share your message, right? Don't let the way that you look stop you from impacting the lives of thousands of people. Don't let that stop you. A lot of you wrote that you want to have more confidence on video. A lot of you wrote that you want to know how to present your message or offer or product specifically without coming across as salesy. You want to know how to be consistent with video content. You want to know how to find topics, engage your audience, how to start. You want to go through it without stumbling like an idiot or saying a lot of filler words when you're going live. Let me tell you something, guys. If I was worried about saying the wrong word or stumbling over my words or taking a drink or choking or whatever it might be, I would never go live because I've already technically messed up what I was going to say 10 times. You probably didn't even notice because I'm only thinking about it in my own mind. Yeah, Joseph Gonzalez says, be genuine, real, and authentic. That's it. Joseph Gonzalez, everyone, go to his LinkedIn profile and look at the videos he posts. He's literally posting 5-minute videos, 6-minute videos, longer form videos. He doesn't even go in there and edit them because you don't need to. You're getting the real, the raw Joseph Gonzalez, right? Your audience wants the real you. They don't want something that's completely polished. They don't always want something that's completely edited. They want the real, authentic version of you. That's literally just a taste of a lot of the questions that you had. And I will be answering those questions either by myself every single Friday at 10 a.m., or I will be bringing on experts in the areas of content creation and personal branding and business to give you their own personal tips. Now, like I said, I've got a couple things that I wanted to share with you personally today for the first ever Impact Hour. And what would be more fitting than to share why I personally started with video content for my personal brand? And the reason is this: creating strong video content literally changed my life, and consuming strong video content literally changed my life. I didn't start my business just knowing exactly that I wanted to do video content. I started it that way because that was all I knew. That was the only way that I knew to get my message across. Because when I was 21 years old, I'm 27 now to give you a reference point. So just 6 years ago, I was 260 pounds. I was going through a really tough time in my life where I was earning a lot of money. I had a really great job. I had a great income, but I was very unhappy with myself. I was very depressed at this point in my life at 21. And I was 260 pounds. I was over $20,000 in credit card debt, even though I was earning over 6 figures every single year. I didn't know how to manage my money. I was never taught about money, and I never went out to seek information about money. And I knew that something had to change. And it was at the point where I wanted to move up into leadership with the company that I worked with, the same sales company. And my mentor at the time, who was my manager, my direct leader, he says, there's no way you're going to be a leader in this company. And I asked him, why? Why can't I be a leader? What's stopping me? And he's like, Brandon, you can't even take care of yourself. If you can't even lead yourself, how can you expect to lead other people? And that hit me hard. And you might have heard the story before if you've been following my show, my podcast. And at that point, I asked him, what do I need to do to improve my life? And he's like, you need to read this book. And he handed me one of the first personal development books that I've ever read, which completely changed my life. It was called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And what The Secret says is your thoughts become things. What you think about, you will magnetize and attract more of those things into your life. So if you're constantly thinking about your bright future, then you're going to attract your bright future. However, if you're thinking about your past and if you're thinking about mistakes and what's going wrong in your life, you're going to attract more of those mistakes and things that will go wrong in your life. And I read the entire book through, and there was a lot of cheesy parts, but I realized I don't really have a choice. I have to try something different. What I'm doing now isn't working for me. So I started to implement what it is I learned. It was at that point that I had another friend of mine who said, you need to check out this guy on YouTube. And I was like, what guy? And he says, his name is Tony Robbins. And I was like, Tony Robbins? I was like, I feel like I've heard that name before. So I looked him up. And I clicked on the first video I found. All I remember is it was Tony Robbins just sharing his message. He was sharing like 3 tips to live a better life. And it was him standing up with a camera and a completely white background. It was just him with like a white backdrop. And I watched the entire video, and it was a long video. It was like over 30 minutes long. And I watched him speak, and I watched him move, and I watched the way that he talked to the camera as if he was talking to me directly. And his message really touched me. His message really made me think, wow, maybe it is possible for me to create this better life. Maybe it is possible for me to build stronger relationships. Maybe it's possible for me to eliminate this debt, to get my body into shape. And I started to literally listen and watch Tony Robbins videos every single day. On the way to work, I would literally put my phone up. I probably shouldn't have done this, but I did. I'm sure you do something similar at times. I put my phone up with the video playing, and I didn't watch it actively while I was driving, but I listened to it and I glanced over every now and then. I would literally watch and consume video content every single day. And what I like to say now is I was essentially borrowing the thoughts from these influencers. I was listening to their impactful message, and I was applying it to my life. I was executing based on the information that he shared with me. And over the course of 6 months, I was able to literally release over 60 pounds of weight. I went from 260 pounds to 190 pounds. Within 8 months, I was able to eliminate all this crippling debt from my life. I was able to eliminate over $25,000 of debt within 8 months. And I followed the Dave Ramsey principle, which I actually talk about in my book, but you can also see it in Dave Ramsey's book, Total Money Makeover. I think he calls it the snowball method. And I was able to transform my life in literally less than a year. And from that point, I moved up in the company that I worked with. And I started to train new salespeople. And I started to help other people improve their life. I started to help them make more money, but I also started to help them remove their debts, release weight, get their body into a better physical shape, mend and build stronger relationships in their life. And at this point, it was when I realized my personal mission. And this is something we're going to be talking about a lot. My question for you is, what is your personal mission? What do you believe you were placed on this earth to do? Because I was a sales trainer for 3 to 4 years, 4.5 years actually. And it got to the point where I was training all of the new salespeople for the company that I worked with. And I said to myself, I want to help people outside of my company. I was still watching a lot of video content. I was still executing on the advice, because that's just as important as consuming the content itself. You listening and watching this broadcast right now is great, but what's even more important is you actually take something from it and use it and apply it to get a better result in your life or your business. So I said to myself, I want to help other people who are outside of this company. I don't want to just help people here. I want to help people everywhere. I want to do something similar to what Tony Robbins is doing, to what Les Brown is doing, to what Eric Thomas is doing, Mel Robbins, all these different influencers and people who had a message, who've built a lifestyle, who've built a brand and a business around their impactful message. Because I just asked you, what is your personal message? What is your personal commitment? Like Joseph Gonzalez just wrote. What is it that you want to share with the world? And I'm going to talk about this a little bit deeper, a little bit later in this broadcast. But imagine if you could get that message to thousands of people while creating a lifestyle for yourself, while creating an income for yourself, income through service, income through impact. Believe me, it is possible, because I've done it for myself. And that's a big reason why I create these videos. It's a big reason why I created this Impact Hour segment of the Be Better broadcast. So that's exactly what I did. In 2019, I officially started Be Better Industries. I got the LLC. I did a lot of things I probably shouldn't have done at the beginning. I started the website. I put myself on all the personal or the social media websites. I started creating some, very short form content, writing like motivational posts and posting some quotes and things like that. But I had no idea what I was doing, and I had no idea how I was going to grow. But that was the thing, and that was the fun part. The journey of learning the next step and applying the next step was the fun part for me. And I had a lot of struggles along the way, right? I didn't know how to get clients. I didn't actually earn even $1 in my business until 2020, until 1 year after I started the business. But I started video content specifically because I know that it made a giant difference in my life. But video content is also so important because it's allowed me to create a relationship with people who I've never met before. I've met and networked with so many different people who have simply found my profile, whether it's on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, and they shot me a message and they said, "Hey, I saw your ad or I saw your video or your broadcast. I'd like to have a conversation with you." Some of the most important people to me in my life, I found them through these platforms. Like, I think of one of my good friends, Bogdan, his name is, who has a platform of his own called Potentia. He's on a mission to change the way that education is rolled out to children and people, and when it comes to personal development and life improvement. And Bogdan found me from a video that I posted on my business page, and he's become one of my best friends. And I've never even met him personally. But I also love video content because it's allowed me to put a face to my brand. It's allowed me to share my message in a way, in a deeper way than a simple post or a simple picture could have done. And after I started posting video content, I sucked, by the way. I was very bad at the beginning. I was not well spoken at all. Go on my Facebook page, go back, or even my YouTube channel, go back to some of the first videos that I posted. I looked like angry in every single one of my videos. I was like, "You need to go after your goals." And my face was all scrunched. I didn't smile once. I think I had like a personal mission to not show you my teeth. I had no idea what I was doing. My arms were like by my side. I was nervous. You could tell I didn't move at all. My words were jumbled. My message got jumbled. I didn't know what I wanted to say, but it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up, holding your phone up, recording the video. If you don't want to start with video, it's about putting up the post. It's about sharing the image, and it's about sharing your message and why your message, your product, or your service can make a difference in the lives of people. But I went deep with video content specifically because video content has allowed me to get my book in the hands of over 16,000 people. Video content has helped me to build my YouTube channel to over 5,000 active subscribers. Video content, like I mentioned, has allowed me to share my message in many different ways with so many different people. And the other beautiful thing about video content is video content can be repurposed, which means you can take your video and you can take the text out of it and you can make a post from the text in your video from the words that you spoke. Or you can take it and you can grab quotes from the video and make some pieces of content just using the quotes. You could also create a podcast and make it a video podcast and meet a bunch of awesome people that you can also learn from at the same time, but you can also network with afterwards. There's so many different benefits to video content. But the reality is there's only going to be more of it. I think the statistic was last year alone, video content saw a spike of viewership of over 68% just because of the pandemic. Just because people were home, they were on their phones, they were consuming and watching videos and surfing through social media. And videos are a lot more likely to catch people's attention than a simple post or a simple photo will. The reason you're watching this is because you have a message to share. You have an impact that you want to make on other people. You want to build your personal brand or create an income that can sustain the lifestyle of your dreams. Whatever it might be, you have something you want to share. Video content, in my opinion, is the best way to share it. But again, it's just a part of your strategy. It doesn't need to be your entire strategy. And my goal with this weekly show is to give you the strategies that have worked for me to help me to earn passive income, to help me to build a business using these platforms, to help me to market my book, to help me to market my products. I want to give you everything that I learned. So wherever you're watching this, follow me, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with a friend, anything that will help to get this show and video out to more people who could use it. That's my only ask of you. And I want you to follow and subscribe to this so that you can see all the new content that I release when it comes to marketing yourself and building your personal brand with the power of video. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk to you about today is if I could go back in time and give 25-year-old Brandon or 24-year-old Brandon 3 pieces of advice when it comes to building his personal brand and market himself and getting better on video and expand his impact, I want to give you some pieces of advice that I wish I had back then. But while this little blooper is playing here, I want you to share the show with one friend who could use it, and I'll be right back. There's a lot of things that I wish I knew when I started to build my personal brand. And in this segment, in this video, I want to give you 3 specific things that I knew when I started to build my brand, when I started to create video content, when I started to market my first product, which was my book called Be Extraordinary, Your Guide to Self-Mastery. And these strategies have helped me to get that book into the hands of over 16,000 people. It's allowed me to build my YouTube channel to over 5,000 subscribers. And I know that these 3 tips will work for you as well. So the first tip that I want to give you when it comes to building your personal brand is I want you to get very, very clear on your purpose. And when I say purpose, it's a word that's used heavily everywhere. It's a word that's very convoluted. It can mean a lot of different things. But for the sake of this, I want you to think of your purpose as what you have inside of you that you can use and that you want to use to impact the lives of other people. You can think of your purpose even as your personal mission statement. And when I first started my YouTube channel and building my personal brand and really putting myself out there on social media, marketing my products and all those things, even before I had a product, I wasn't really clear on what I wanted to help people with. I didn't know whether I wanted to help people with losing weight the same way that I was able to lose weight. I didn't know if I wanted to help people to earn more money or eliminate the debts that they had in their life. But I realized I had to get very clear on what it is I wanted to help people with. And I didn't have a personal mission statement or a tagline. And it took some time, but now my tagline is I want to help as many people as possible to positively transform their life and make a 1% difference each and every day. Because as you know, I talk about it a lot. If you're able to improve 1% each day, then if you do the math, I used to think it was 365% over the course of a year, but I was wrong. I had like a mathematician friend correct me. And he says, Brandon, you've got to do 1% to the power of 365. And if you grow 1% every single day in anything, at the end of a year, you will be 37% better than you were. So how much better will you be after 5 years? How much better will you be after 10 years? This is where the concept of mastery comes from. You do something long enough, you become a master at that specific thing. I think the new stat is once you do something for 10,000 hours, you become a master. That generally takes people 10 years, but you could do it sooner. So what is your purpose? What is your personal mission? If you have a product or you have a service that you're already offering to your target audience, what is your personal mission behind that product? People are a lot more enticed by a personal mission statement than they are by a product itself. A product can mean a lot of different things based on the message that you put behind it. So what is your personal mission? Joseph Gonzalez says there's absolutely no limit, and this man is on a mission of empowerment. No stopping him, and he's helping other people to become empowered as well. An excellent example of a mission statement. And if you watch Joseph's content, you will see for yourself that he is living that example. He's creating content all around living your best life and becoming limitless. That'd be a great book title for you, Joseph. So what is your personal mission? Becoming very clear on that for me at the very beginning would have helped me, because after I did become clear on that, I had to edit my website. I had to edit all of my social media profiles to fit my new mission statement. If I had become clear of my mission at the beginning, I would have been able to avoid all of the editing and all of that wasted time. But listen, if you have to figure it out afterwards, that's no problem, right? This is never going to be perfect. You're going to have obstacles on this journey to building your brand, to sharing your message, to selling your products, whatever it is. There's going to be obstacles, but if you can avoid as many of those obstacles by learning from my mistakes, that's the best way to do it. Number two, The second piece of advice that I wish I had when I was starting a personal brand was I wish that I had started to become an authority in my space sooner. And what I mean by that is nobody outside of my family and friends were watching my videos. And that's normal. You're going to post a video or a blog post or any kind of piece of content, and you're not going to have many people who are looking at that piece of content, engaging it, or watching the video. The point at the beginning is to start posting. And that is something that I didn't do. It took me a long time to actually start creating content because I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid of the criticism I would receive when I posted that piece of content. And I had to figure this out the hard way because I remember the first ever event that I had scheduled. It was the first ever Be Better Bootcamp. It was an in-person event that was 45 minutes from me down in Albany, New York, and I rented out a room that could fit 200 people. I paid $500 for the room. I paid over $2,000 in Facebook advertising. I created this video content to market the event. I hired a professional videographer to help me to do so. And I got to the event, and I expected over 100 people to be there. I was talking to my wife that day, and I said, babe, I hope that I have enough room in this venue to hold the amount of people that are going to be at this event. And she's like, don't worry. I think you're going to be fine. There should be enough tables. You should have enough pens and paper and everything else that I brought for materials for them. And I'll never forget this day because it was one of the most painful experiences in my business and personal brand journey so far. I get there, and it's 20 minutes before the event. Not one person's there. I'm like, okay, maybe everyone's just going to get here at the time of the event. 10 minutes before the event, not one person's there. 5 minutes before the event, my mom gets there, my sister gets there, my brother-in-law gets there, their friends get there, 4 of my family members are there, okay? And at the time of the event, and the couple strolled in late, I had 6 total people show up to my first ever Be Better Bootcamp. By the way, this was a free event. It didn't cost a dime, but I spent over $2,000, over $2,500 actually in marketing this event. And I still did the event. And I remember I went up to my mom, I went up to my dad, and I said, guys, no one can know that you're my family. Everyone has to think that you are a complete stranger because this is embarrassing that no one showed up yet. And they said, honey, don't worry about it. We won't tell anybody. You're going to be great. You're going to do a good job. Everything that your parents would tell you. And I did the boot camp. It was a 2-hour event. It went really well. I got some great pictures from it that I did use in my branding, that I did make posts from after the fact. So I got something out of the event. But let me tell you, the number one thing that I got from this event was a lesson. No amount of advertising will help you if you don't start building your brand now. Start positioning yourself as an authority in the space that you're in. If you're in the fitness space, start building yourself and branding yourself as the authority in that space. Start posting pictures of yourself. Start sharing posts of your journey. Create a video talking about your story, talking about who you specifically help, why you help those specific people. Start a podcast on fitness. I'm friends with Allison Jackson, who's the host of the Fit to Lead podcast, and she's a fitness coach who has a podcast where she has other guests come on, other people in the leadership space and the fitness space to share their stories. Do something to position yourself as an authority. You know, I think the stat is only like 4% of all of the active users on LinkedIn alone are active. Only 3 to 4% of people on LinkedIn are actually active. And there's millions, maybe not millions, but there's thousands and thousands of YouTube channels of people who don't even post content. Yet they're a coach. They're a business owner. Listen, if you're a business owner or a coach or a consultant and you're not posting content to position yourself as the authority, no one is going to know you, no one's going to like you, and no one's going to trust you. The reality is you need to share results, your own results from other people. You have to get your message to the marketplace. You have to begin creating content. And if you're talking to me, I'm biased. I'm going to recommend you create video content. And at this point, I've created systems where I have 3 live shows a week that create all of the content that I need for all the different platforms. And don't worry, that is a strategy that I'll talk about in future videos and broadcasts. So again, be sure to subscribe to this show, like this show, share this show with one friend if you found any value from it so far. So tip number 2 is position yourself as the authority in the space that you're in. And finally, tip number 3 is one that so many people need to hear, especially other coaches that I know specifically, and I have a couple people in mind. There are so many people I know that will simply read book after book after book. They will go to seminar after seminar after seminar. They will learn and learn some more. And just in case they didn't learn enough, they're going to learn even more after that. These are people who simply consume content, but they don't execute on that content. Tip number 3 that I would give to the younger version of myself when I was building my coaching business and personal brand is create more than you consume. But not even create more than you consume, but execute on the information that you do consume. If you're watching a video on how to build your business or start your coaching practice or whatever you're doing to share your message and to impact others, execute based on what you learned in that video. You know, at the very beginning, I watched and consumed all the content, and I even started to sound like the people who shared the content because I was watching so much of their videos, reading so many of their posts and their books, but I didn't really execute on it. Things only changed for me when I found 1 or 2 people to follow in this space, and I started to watch a video, execute, read a book, execute. Even if you only read 1 book this year, but you execute on everything that that book recommends to you, that's how you build a business. That's how you start to create income with your brand. That's how you start to create the lifestyle that you want. Every 2 years, I believe the statistic is, I think this is Moore's Law. You can look it up. It's called Moore's Law. Every 2 to 3 years, the amount of information in the world doubles. And it's only going to be going faster and faster and faster. There is an addiction to information in today's world. And your goal, and by the way, you're taking in information right now. So your goal after you watch this video, after you listen to this broadcast, is to take one of these tips that you just heard, just one. Don't go crazy. You can if you want, but take one of these tips and apply it to your business. Apply it to your brand. My goal and my mission is to help you get your message to as many people as possible, because in a sense, that's me helping those people too. But that serves no use if you leave this video and you don't do something with the information that you learned. Information without execution is the drain on your life. It's the drain on your time. And it can give you a false sense of progress if you simply learn. You'll be like a walking encyclopedia, a walking dictionary. We all know that person who went to school for 40 years, right? That's an exaggeration, obviously. But they went to school, they got all the letters after their name, but they're not doing anything with all the knowledge that they have. You don't want to be that person. So when you learn something, start using it and execute. Tip number 3 is start creating more than you're consuming. Listen, you've got a message and a service and a product that's going to do good for other people. And in future videos and broadcasts, I'm going to talk to you about how you can make that offer even better for those people. I'm going to talk to you about how you can share that offer and get it seen by many more people. But you can't just keep learning. You can't just keep standing still. You can't just keep waiting. You can't just keep saying, I'm afraid to post a video, Brandon. I'm afraid to put my face on social media. You got to do it. We were all afraid at the beginning. You have to get started. Because if you don't get started now, when will you? The best time to get started was 5 years ago. The second best time is now. So seize the moment, Carpe diem. I don't think I've ever said that on the show. And take this information and use it to share your impactful message, to build your brand, to build your business, and create the life of your dreams, but also to transform the life of the people that you are reaching with your message, your services, and your product. That's my third tip. I know these 3 tips will serve you well. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe to this channel so that you can see all the new videos that we post, all the new broadcasts that we air, so you don't miss any tips to build your brand and build your business with the power of video and any other form of content that I'm going to be sharing with you, myself, or with the guests that I bring on this show. If you found one piece of value from this broadcast, share it with one friend. Thanks for everyone who watched it live. Joseph Gonzalez stayed until the very end. I appreciate you and everyone else who is watching right now. And until we talk again next time on the Be Better Broadcast Impact Hour, continue to be better.